So returning the flick serve. It's a question we've had a lot on our channel from subscribers, and they find they're struggling with it, particularly when we're trying to ask them to focus on the low serve. Now, mentality, that's going to be the biggest thing here, Dean. What do we want to talk about?
I think with the mentality, it's kind of getting across to players that actually, when they are going back for the flick, it's okay to maybe not be in a fantastic position. We may well be slightly off balance, and we might not be able to hit a winner. But that's okay. It's all about being able to kind of bring the shuttle in a good downwards direction, focus on how quick we can maybe recover off that flick serve, and then start the rally from there.
I think this all comes back to, yes, we want you to pressure the low serve because it's the shorter flight time, and the flick you have that longer flight time to get back to. So the more pressure you can put here, you might force them to flick, and then actually you can then get on the initiative from there.
And I think what's important to reference is a lot of people have been saying that, you know, because we want you to focus on the low serve, that they're struggling to get the flick. Now, we're not saying to move closer necessarily to low serve. We're not necessarily saying for you to anticipate. What we're trying to get across is, as soon as that serve is hit, whether it's a low serve or a flick serve, we are moving as explosively as we possibly can to take that shot as early as possible. So David, looking at how you return a flick serve, I'm going to start with body weight.
Yeah, and one of the issues we sometimes see is people being, I'm going to call it, too neutral with their body weight. It's almost 50% of their weight on their back leg, 50% on their front leg. What I'd like to see a bit more is maybe 70% on this front leg, because what we're wanting to do is transfer our weight onto this back leg to push off backwards. We want some weight here, because then we can drive into the floor and get a really quick transfer. Whereas if we're too 50-50, that transfer is too slow. We have to almost push forward first to then move backwards.
And it probably comes back to something that we mentioned already, David, that maybe that people are a bit more neutral because they're worried.
Yeah.
And actually it doesn't actually has a positive impact on looking almost for the low serve or the flick serve. So David, footwork. Now I think this is a big one for people that struggle with flick serve, because I think they're always feeling that they're having to get behind the shuttle and have this lovely kick through.
Yeah.
But that's not realistic. So what are we going to be doing instead?
It's not necessarily pretty, that's the thing. Yeah. It's not a typical footwork you've been taught to hit a lovely smash during a rally or something. What we're looking for is speed and just getting back as much as possible. So it's essentially two movements. We're going to drive off our legs to do a nice sachet backwards, and from there we're jumping. And with that jump, our racket's getting up nice and early, so we can just try and intercept that shuttle as soon as we can. That's the thing, flight time, stopping that shuttle as soon as we can.
I think that point there that David made is particularly important. We're not necessarily moving to where the flick is landing. Yeah. Our whole emphasis on is trying to hit that shuttle as early as we possibly can. And as David mentioned there, the racket also plays a very crucial part in that. If our racket is low as we're moving back, we have a very big distance between our racket and the shuttle. It's really important as we are coming back that our racket is up in a good position, which gives us much more chance of catching that shuttle early. Okay, so David, let's start talking about the shot. And this is very much governed on the position that we're actually in when we're making contact.
Precisely, yeah. And let's say in an ideal scenario, you've maybe anticipated their flick. You've moved back really well. We're behind the shuttle. Yes, feel free, smash it. That's going to be your most dominating shot. But there's also all these scenarios where maybe the flick's caught you out a bit and we're slightly out of position. And then we have to bring down that sort of the shot speed, because we have to consider the shot afterwards as well. And it might be a nice little clip shot into space. And that last one, if we're really caught out, the big thing I want you to think about here is it doesn't necessarily have to come downwards. And I think sometimes we see players try and force the shuttle down, when actually big high clear is your last resort, gives you time to get back into position and hopefully hit a good defensive shot.
I'd just like to maybe bring in one more shot as well there, David, and that's kind of the drop shot. Because what we sometimes see when people are in this position is they think drop shot, but it goes high and floating.
Yeah.
And again, that's very easy for our opponent to come in and rush and attack us. So what would we be looking for with a drop shot on the flick?
With the drop shot, because it's slightly slower, it's so important, Dean, that we get it coming down straight off the strings. Now that means if you are slightly out of position, manipulating that wrist a little bit to get it coming down. But what you've got to almost be honest with yourself is, can I do that? If you feel like you're not in the position to do that, the worst thing you can do is, like you said, Dean, balloon that shuttle up. You've basically lost the rally straight away. And the final thing to talk about, now we've played the shot, is how we're going to recover. And this is so, so important, Dean.
Very much so, and I think a big thing that we see when people get flick is they end up taking maybe 3-4 steps continually backwards. And again, even though we're not in a great position, we have to slam the brakes on as quick as we possibly can, because our whole emphasis needs to be getting back into position for that next shot. So it's just, again, that change of body weight, similar to what we already spoke about as we set off. Once we've landed on that back foot, because we are jumping backwards, we need to then transfer that back onto this foot to feel like our body weight can start to come back into court.
And this becomes even more important in regards to shot choice, because if we're hitting hard and steep and downwards, we're giving ourselves less time, so our recovery has to be even better and quicker. Whereas maybe if we're falling out the back of the court a bit and feel like our recovery may not be as good, we're actually choosing to hit that big high clear is going to give you more time to get back into position.
So we hope this answers some of your questions you have about returning a flick serve.
And try not to fear the flick serve. Still focus on getting to that low serve as fast as you can. And if they flick it, you just got to work hard to get back to it as best as you can.